Okay. I think we're good. We're gonna find out how to fucking play this game today. Today we're gonna find out how to play this fucking game, dude. I had this game for months now, and every time I try to play it, something pops up or I just get overwhelmed. I don't know what's going on. I do have some mods installed, but I don't think it's like anything too like game changing. I think it's just like basic shit like respawn here. Like economy mod and shit. How do you third person? All right. So we have our little rover. All right, we're gonna let it do its thing. All right, just gonna drive around, survey the land. Some would say it's a cycle hut. I don't know what the fuck that means. Doesn't matter. Oh, wait, does this mean? Okay. Oh, cycle hut. Okay. I see what's going on there. Toolbar? Is that not called a toolbar? Doesn't matter. All right, so we're looking for. I don't know what we're looking for truly. I guess we're looking for a nice piece of land. How do we scan? I feel like scanning would be the play here, you know, like... You know what? Hold on. Alright, we got food. Yeah, we got food. We got a pistol. You know, I don't know what the fuck we're gonna do with a pistol. I don't know if that's a tree up there. That's a tree. Alright. I think... Put the parking brakes on. Let's figure this shit out, right? We got our... Oh, shit. I gotta research it first. Fuck. I know we're like double clicking this thing. Full on inventory shit already? Alright, hold on. Let's do this. So we put shit in this thing. I think it's this. Right, production, right? Alright, so we have... Maybe I should be careful. This is our survival kit. Road access? No, this isn't it. Alright, control panel. Grid blocks. Blueprints, right? It seems to be blueprints. Equipment. Oh, wait, hold on. Ingots. Stone. Alright, so we turned stone into ingots? Maybe, I think we gotta craft something first. I just do all of it? Oh, fuck. Uh-oh. We'll just do that much first. Alright. Go ahead and start this bad boy back up. Get to cooking. Wait, it says I discovered something. Hold RMB to quickly dig tunnels? Hold RMB. Hold left mouse split to drill. Hold RMB to quickly dig tunnels. Okay. Well, we are fucking creating trenches. Alright, we got more stone. Okay, what else can we do here? Computer construction comp. Is this a survival kit? Oh, hold on. We need to make... Maybe we need to make steel plates. Take some steel plates. We gotta put it in our inventory? No. Alright, so we got the steel plates. Guys, I'm pretty sure we have... What is this? The basic refinery. Landing gear. The basic assembler. This is what we want. What was that? I guess it's my character. Oh, we have some light armor blocks. You need steel plates. Okay, well, good thing I fucking made some, right? Boom. Yeah, let's get a grid going. Alright, so we got our little 2x2, or I don't fucking know dimensions. Oh fuck, dude, we need a fuck ton of shit. Alright, we need fuck do we need? We need 60 steel plates. Alright, so 6, 12, 18, 24 plus, so 320 technically. Holy fuck, dude, what? Just to make some damn boxes? Oh god. Oh god. Alright, let's keep drilling. This. It's like diamonds or some shit. It is a diamond, I don't know. Gonna go downwards. How do you turn on the flashlight? Oh fuck, okay. Alright, hold on, am I getting rocks? Okay, hold on. I think, alright, so this gets me resources, but this does not. Alright, that's interesting. That's pretty cool, actually. Alright, well. Let's see. Oh, God forbid. Zombie apocalypse, because I'll have a underground tunnel here. Underground tunnel here ready for me to go. Alright, let's do this. Nice. Okay, so we have all this. We don't have those steel plates. What the fuck happened? Wait. Oh no, I'm stupid. Fuck. Now this makes sense. Fuck, need more. Hold on, while this is doing this, because I know the game is like full screen for some reason. Sorry about this, I need to be able to access Discord. Alright, yes, keep these settings, and we're just gonna cook. I am tabbed out right now.
Inventory full.
Alright, so we'll go ahead and come back up here. Oh fuck, it's full. Oh, so you have to. You legitimately have to do that. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so it puts it in a queue already. What's this? What does this mean? So does that mean... No, that's not what that means at all. Let me see this again. Doesn't. No. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't use the jetpack. Okay. Okay. I see what's going on here. Go ahead, put this bad boy here. Get this welding torch here. And we need more. Oh, okay. And then this. Alright, alright. So these are all like blueprints in a way. And then you put them on your hotbar, you place it down, I guess you put the base of it, the underlying thing, okay. What is progression? Alright, so we need to make the basic assembler, that'll allow us to build some cool shit. Anyways. Fuck, dude, I need more. Man, how much stone do I need?
Inventory full.
Alright, cool. Got the inventory. Fucking God. Okay, so we're making more of this shit. Alright, I think everything is full now. Alright, nice. So... this is our assembly. So we got this. Yeah, we need 40 construction comp, 10 motors, 4 displays, 80 computers. Alright, so we need... how many of this should we need? We need 60 steel plates. Fuck, dude, we need a fuck ton of stone.
Inventory full.
Where the fuck am I?
Energy low.
Whoa, 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 what do you mean energy low? Okay, we're good. We got our kelp. Whatever the fuck that is. Dude, I need a fuck ton of steel plates. What is that? Am I tripping? Dude, I swear I hear something behind me. What is that? How do you zoom in? This is a supply post. Fuck. It is 6 kilometers out. Alright, I guess, let's go on an adventure. Fortunately, there's no way for me to mark this location, so I gotta hope to God I fucking remember how I got here. By just driving straight. Okay, it's literally just a straight shot. Okay, we're good. Well, I hope to God I can carry this shit. Fuck is this? Leopard gloves. Interesting. Can I like pick this thing up? Oh. Nothing in here. Alright. God, I hope to God I'm going the right way. No, we could always go to that supply post, see what the fuck's over there. I can't see shit. Oh fuck, it's raining now. Is that our little piece of shit? Maybe we should just go to the supply post at this point. Wait, I think that's it. That's gotta be it, right? That's it. I don't know, it's not like we can fucking... I don't think we could truly support the weight of everything. I mean, let me see. Let's see, right? Let's go ahead and destroy everything. We got 79 steel plates. Should have about a little over 100. Yeah. Alright, cool. Yeah, 124, we should have 144. Just want to know if it's 100% return. I don't know. maybe it's not 20. Alright, let's just go ahead and go to the supply post, I guess. I don't know. I am hoping to God this is either like a pre-established settlement or this just has a bunch of shit to scrap. There's a little antenna. I don't know what the fuck it does though. What is that? Alright, 2 neutral signals. We have supply posts and security systems active. Uh-oh. What is that? I have to take a detour. Let's go ahead and take a detour. Whoa, what do you mean we got unidentified targets on approach? Never mind. Oh, wait, the supply post is saying that. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't go there. Fuck, I was under the impression, you know, it was abandoned. I think we're good on energy. What the fuck is this? Scrap metal and... Oh shit, there's more shit. Oh, no, there isn't. Interesting. Alright, so... I guess we'll make our base here. There's not really much for me to do. Alright, nice. So we got that. Do we need this? I mean, what's more important? I would imagine the basic assembler is, right? Fuck. Alright, so we have this thing we can destroy. Go ahead and demolish this thing. right, let's see how much we got for that. Actually, I think we can make it. We need one motor and however many computers that is. We need one motor. All right, let's see. Production motor. We need iron ingots. We don't have iron ingots. All right, so we need a...
Inventory
nice.
full.
Pretty nice hole. It's fucking dark as hell. So... Wait, this is... What the fuck is scrap metal for? Alright, so whatever. We need to make... Oh my god, stop. No, stop. We need a motor. No idea if we have enough, honestly. Did we get a motor? Yes, we did. Fuck. Alright, now we need 58 computers. Oh god. Alright, I don't know if we have enough, but I guess we'll find out. No! Ah! Alright, and then I think... Is it there? Is it like outside my car? Is that them? How are they dead? How is this thing not dead? Brother, you're getting ran over by a car. How is this not a thing? Alright, whatever. I guess we need to make ingots, right? How do I access my hotbar from here? Wait, there was 2 wolves here that died too. Unless this wolf fucking ate them. Did it. Alright, so this thing can hold up to 2,000 liters or something. Okay, maybe we can't do that. Hold on. I think we gotta... Excuse me. Sorry about that. Alright, I think we gotta make a, basic refinery now. But we need steel plate, which we do have. Oh, we can make it is what I'm trying to say. Alright, actually, hold on. What the fuck are we producing? Ah, I guess we do need that, right? We're gonna need this. How do you rotate? Alright, hold on. Because I think we have to get energy. I don't know, man. Hold on. Ah, insert delete home. Okay, so that's how you rotate shit. Is this connected though? Alright, let me see. We'll pull up that one YouTube video I saw.
For a space start. Speaking of which, if you really want, it is connected to a phone, which will be dropped for you to pick up. If you right click, you can clear out a larger area, but it won't produce any stone.
Yeah, okay.
As a quick tip, you can also hold down the F key while you're drilling to automatically pick up the ore stack. If you want to move smaller amounts, control click will move 10. Shift click will move 100, and control shift click will move 1,000. For a more precise other machines, the survival kit doesn't process automatically. To get it to work, face it and hit K to open the production tab. Then, control shift click the ingot symbol once to queue up processing
but this is
1,000
like
stone
super basic.
into materials. You'll have to keep resupplying it with stone as you go. From this point,
Like, we're kind of past the super basic part. I think this is the video I was watching. Is there anything else
It's going to
lighting?
avoid it entirely. Now, with that done, we can click, which makes building much simpler. Your suit will automatically refill from this hydrogen bottle as long as there's station, whether we can access the items from them or not, because this seat has no conveyor access. So we see in our O2H2 generator, we've got an oxygen bottle, a hydrogen bottle, and some ice.
Alright.
But we can't transfer these to anywhere because it's not conveyed to anywhere where we can transfer them to. You can see anything that it's not connected to when you click and drag because they will become darkened. But I really want that hydrogen bottle. So we're going to hop out, we're going to walk around to our left, and on this side of the pod we'll see a large conveyor port, which is this yellow square area. If we interact with that, we can then grab our hydrogen bottle and drag it across. We want this hydrogen bottle now because it's going to refill the hydrogen supply in our suit, which is going to allow us to fly around for longer, which makes building much simpler. Your suit will automatically refill from this hydrogen bottle as long as there's hydrogen left in it whenever your suit gets low. We don't need the oxygen bottle because the planet has enough oxygen that we don't need that supply. And this ice will be used later for refilling these bottles or refilling our suit, because we can refill our suit from this survival kit that's around here. Not from the inventory access port here, but from this blue screen here. This blue screen here is able to heal us. It's also able to recharge our suit. And if the survival kit is connected to something that can supply hydrogen and oxygen via its conveyor system, it can also refill those. Say for example, if I were to fly up here and then fall down and hurt myself a little bit, you can see that I've used up a little bit of hydrogen. Health is at 97, power at 97, and hydrogen at 98. If I hold down interact with this, and now I'm back at 100 for everything across the board. This survival kit is connected to our O2H2 generator by these two little conveyors that you can see behind my seat here. If I walk back around to the access port of the survival kit, I can try and move this bottle, but again, I'm stopped. But there's a conveyor there. That's because that conveyor is too small to move things like oxygen bottles and a lot of the components that we'll build. It can, however, be used for moving things that are much smaller than that, or can be moved in much smaller portions, such as the ice, which I can move across. Last thing to look at on our pod is our battery. Our battery here comes with 100% charge when we start falling down with it. If I hop in the seat, press K to bring up the control panel, and click on the battery, you can see that it has 993 kilowatt hours left. At the moment, that is absolutely fine, because it won't deplete for a full 2 days. That's 48 hours in our real world time, not 48 hours of game time, 48 hours real world. All of your timers that you'll see for power depletion are in real world amounts. 2 days is a very long time, but it's not really going to last 2 days. The most power hungry thing on our respawn pod here is the survival kit. The survival kit, while at idle, will require 15 kilowatts of power. That's in order to be able to respawn at it, as long as it has power. So we want to make sure that this survival kit has power always.
This is
We never
gravel.
want it to run out. So that's going to be our first goal. We want to get a power source that's not going to run out and that's going to be simple to manage. And the best power source for that, given that we are on a planet with atmosphere, is going to be a wind turbine. Because wind turbines, unlike solar panels, can operate throughout the day and night. And having power throughout the night early on means we don't need any power storage device for the power we're generating. But wind turbines do have a couple of downsides. The main one being they must be on what we call a static grid, which is anything that is locked to voxels, because voxels, like the planet I'm on, like asteroids, moons, they are all completely 100% immovable objects in Space Engineers. You can destroy them, but you cannot move them, and a wind turbine must be locked to that. It also only comes in one size, which is large.
Inventory
Our
full.
pod is small size. If we try and place a wind turbine on our small grid, it will say large ship wind turbine is not available for small ship. In order to build a wind turbine, we're going to need some materials. You can see on the right there is a list of materials required for this, which are interior plates, motors, construction components, girders, and computers. And then some more interior plate. To collect those materials, we're going to go mining. And I'm going to walk around to where the
Fuck is a
inventory
girder?
access point is for my survival kit, and I'm going to mine near that, because that's where I'm going to be dropping these materials off, so I may as well make my journey as short as possible. In order to mine, we're going to pull out our drill on number 3, and there are 2 modes we can use with this drill. The mode we're going to use first is right click. When we right click, we destroy a larger area of voxel. We crouch down, we can start digging down into the ground. This is a useful mode for getting toward a resource because it destroys a larger area, even though it doesn't actually give you any resources. If we want to collect resources, we need to left click. And if we want to be able to see, we want to press L to turn our lights on. So if I were to left click on this dirt here, some stone will pop out. You can see that we got 96.2 plus 3.2, so 99.4 kilos of stone from that dirt. If I keep mining downwards, we're eventually going to run into some rock. And that rock is going to drop a lot more stone for us than the dirt does. So we'll keep digging down. In some regions of the planet, this topsoil will be very thick, and you may have to mine down a fair way, but because of the massive difference in material load that you get from each bit you mine, it's well worth the effort. And here we go, we've run into some rock, and now if I left click mine into this, you'll see that there's 329 plus 128 for the same amount of drilling that I did in the stone to just get 99. So substantially more effective. Yes, I am going to have to walk all the way back up this tunnel in order to get to my pod, but I still think overall it's going to be much quicker to mine this way. And you might get luckier and not have to dig quite so deep to get down to the rock. And once our inventory is full, let's head back up to the survival kit and drop this off so it can start to be processed. Back at our survival kit, interact with the inventory port, and we can transfer our stone across. This can be done in a few different ways. We can click and drag it across like we did before with the other materials, or we can double click it to transfer as much as will fit, or we can do a couple of other things. There are a few modifier keys that work for making stacks as well as transferring stacks in Space Engineers. If we control click, we will transfer 10. If we shift click, we will transfer 100. If we control shift click, we'll transfer 1,000. For dropping off stone, there's a little shortcut that I want to show you. In the middle of our screen, we can see this button. It says deposit all ores, ingots, and components. We could use that button to transfer things across, but that button also gives us a little tooltip or a shortcut, which is Alt Middle Mouse. Now, Alt Middle Mouse doesn't work in this screen. Alt Middle Mouse works without opening up that screen at all. So if I hold down Alt and then Middle Mouse, I'll drop that stone into any inventories that are available connected to this inventory access
No!
port. So if I open this up, we'll see that I've put some stone in the survival kit, but I've also put some stone in the connected small cargo container. So that's going to be really handy for dropping our stone off. But it's not any good having the stone in the survival kit if we haven't told the survival kit to process it. So we're going to switch over to the production tab, and then we'll be met with this screen where we've got on the left here a bunch of tabs, ingots, components, equipment, tools, weapons, ammo. The survival kit has a limited selection of each of these things, and the one we want to look at right now is the ingots. We want to be able to produce ingots from stone. So we want to add this to our production queue. We can add it one at a time, or just like when we were transferring our stone across, we can use Control to do 10, Shift to do 100, or Control Shift to do 1000. And I'm going to add up a whole bunch to this, just so that anytime I put stone in here, the survival kit will process it without me having to interact with it. It doesn't matter if these don't all get used, they'll be ignored for whatever's next in the queue if the materials aren't available. So that's going to start processing our stone. I'm going to go down in my mining hole and I'm going to dig up at least another 2 loads of stone, as that will give us enough materials to build our first wind turbine. While we're down here mining,
Alright, so we
hold
need to make this
down
wind
the
turbine.
F key while you are mining, and it will pick up a lot of the stones as they drop, so we don't have to pick them up at the end. Looking at our HUD there, you can
Inventory
see now
full.
that that bar across the top is all red. That means that our inventory is full. That is if you haven't got the audio cue telling you that your inventory is full. Your inventory is full. Your inventory is full. To build this wind turbine, I want to make sure that it has enough clearance around it that the wind can get to the wind turbine properly. The game checks this by seeing if there's any obstructions around it horizontally, as well as how far it is from the voxel, i.e. the stuff that I'm standing on, below the wind turbine. We want to make sure that we're at least 20 meters clear in all of those directions. To place down our wind turbine, we're going to want to build a tower. So let's build some steel plate so we can place down some armor blocks to make up that tower. I'm going to make 10 of them. Then I'm going to switch over to the inventory screen and double click on these to transfer. Now that we've got the materials, we can start building our tower. And to build that, I'm going to use my armor block. If I press 4, I'll get access to this armor cube, and I can place it anywhere around here. If I were to place it above the ground like this, it's going to fall, and that is going to be what Space Engineers considers to be a mobile grid. Let's grind that down because that's not going to be
What is
helpful.
that over there?
Instead, what we want is
What's the
something
plan?
that's locked to the voxel, because that will be static, and therefore the wind turbine can work, because it needs a static grid. So we're going to lock this down, and to do that, we're going to make sure that when we place it, it's intersecting with the ground. To ensure that this is aligned to gravity as well, we can press B, and we'll see that gravity aligned placement mode is activated. If you see a different thing, like local grid alignment mode is activated, keep pressing B until gravity align comes back. And then we can left click and place our first block. Keep placing them on top of each other, making sure that they've snapped to one another, because placing a block like this is not helpful. This block is not connected to the one below it. And that means nothing can pass between those two, so we'll grind that down again and start placing some more on top until we run out of steel plate. So now we've got a tower
no.
that's 9.5 blocks tall, which will be enough for our wind turbine. And in order to place our wind turbine, we can bring it up again and look at the component list on the right. The component that's at the very bottom of that list is the component we need in order to be able to place our wind turbine. So I need to go back to my survival kit and build some interior plate. And let's order up 10 by control clicking. And once they've been built, we'll fly up to the top and place our turbine. Just like with the armor blocks, making sure this is snapping to the top like so, and then left click to place. And then we can grab our welder out, and it will place in every component we are holding that is needed for this block. So we're currently holding 9 interior plate. If I start welding, you'll see that we now have 10 interior plate in this wind turbine. So now we can go back to our survival kit and make the remaining components. That's some motors, construction components, girders, and computers. So we go to production, and I remember we needed 8 motors, and I can't remember anything else. So let's click on 7 and see what else we need. 20 construction components. Production, 20. We also need 24 girders and 2 computers. It also says we need 30 interior plate. But we're not going to make that just yet, because it's not strictly required to get a functional wind turbine. And that's going to save us a moderate amount of material. If you're feeling impatient while these components are being made,
Alright,
it's a
how
good
many
and place our first block. Keep placing them on top of each other, making sure that they've snapped to one another, because placing a block like this is not helpful. This block is not connected to the one below it. And that means nothing can pass between those two, so we'll grind that down again and start placing some more on top until we run out of steel plate. So now we've got a tower that's 9.5 blocks tall, which will be enough for our wind turbine. And in order to place our wind turbine, we can bring it up again and look at the component list on the right. The component that's at the very bottom of that list is the component we need in order to be able to place our wind turbine. So I need to go back to my survival kit and build some interior plate. And let's order up 10 by control clicking. And once they've been built, we'll fly up to the top and place our turbine. Just like with the armor blocks, making sure this is snapping to the top like so, and then left click to place. And then we can grab our welder out and it will place in every component we are holding that is needed for this block. So we're currently holding 9 interior plate. If I start welding, you'll see that we now have 10 interior plate in this wind turbine. So now we can go back to our survival kit and make the remaining components. That's some motors, construction components, girders, and computers. So we go to production, and I remember we needed 8 motors, and I can't remember anything else. So let's click on 7 and see what else we need.
Oh god!
20 construction components. Production, 20. We also need 24 girders and 2 computers. It also says we need 30 interior plate. But we're not going to make that just yet, because it's not strictly required to get a functional wind turbine. And that's going to save us a moderate amount of material. If you're feeling impatient while these components are being made, it's a good opportunity to go back down into your mining hole and collect some more stone, as we'll be needing that for our next stages. Okay, components are complete. Back to inventory, and we'll transfer all these across. Double clicking on each one, and then fly back up to our wind turbine. When we have our welder out, and we're looking at the wind turbine, you can see that on the right there is a line, a blue line that says functional above and hack below. If the block has a functional line and we reach that, that means that the block is functional even without the remaining components in it. And in the case of the wind turbine, those 30 interior plate, they fall above the functional line. So we have now got a wind turbine, which means we've now got a power source. But because I have no way to interact with this grid, I have no idea how much power that is producing, but we will find that out shortly. The next thing I want to build is a refinery. At the moment we're using our survival kit to produce ingots, but I prefer to have a refinery produce ingots because 1, it'll use power from the wind turbine, but 2, it'll be able to refine more than stone. And that can be very, very handy to us when we want to produce more stuff. As I want to build a refinery, I'd like to have a little bit of a platform connected to my tower. Now I could go back down into the mining hole and collect some more stone, get the survival kit to process it, and then use those materials to produce more steel plate so we can make more of a platform. Or I can use the steel plate that the pod is made of. If we take out our grinder on number 2, we can then start grinding down these blocks. And that's because in Space Engineers, you get back everything you put into a block, with one exception. The power cells that are in batteries. If you were to grind down this battery, and you ground down those power cells, you'll get back scrap instead of power cells. So be careful while grinding things around your pod that you don't grind down this battery. But around the front here, we're pretty safe to grind this down, so I'm going to collect a bunch of steel plate from the front of our pod. If we shave off this front section here, we'll end up with 20 steel plate, so I can build a little bit of a platform. I'm going to extend out this way a little bit, maybe 3 or 4 blocks, and then I'm going to add a little bit of a ramp. You can see on my hotbar that there's a little plus symbol on this cube. If I were to use my scroll wheel, I can change to different shapes of armor, or in the case of, say, our solar panel, I can change to different types of solar panel and to the wind turbines as well. So I'm going to place a ramp here so that I can walk up from this side. And then, with our remaining 10 steel plate,
I feel like it's been dark
I'm going to
forever.
place down a refinery. The refinery has 2 inventory access ports on opposite sides. It does not have one on the top, and it does not have one on the bottom. To be able to rotate the block like I am, you can see up in the top right that there's normally a little indicator here saying which control is used for rotating in which direction. I'm going to place this down, make sure it's snapped, and make sure it's rotated so that the inventory access is going left to right. And that's just to make it easier for placing down the future blocks that I plan to have placed down after this. Left click, grab out our welder, weld in the remaining steel plate that we're carrying, And then we'll see that we need to get 90 steel plate, 20 construction components, 10 motors, and 10 computers. Go over to our survival kit and we'll order that up. Just
Where
like
the fuck did
before,
all the shit
that
go?
top 20 steel plate for the basic refinery, that isn't required to reach the functional state for the refinery. So we're going to skip it as well. This is just to save us material early on. It does leave those blocks a bit more vulnerable to being broken.
Girders and construction.
Say if we were to accidentally run into them, they can't take as much damage because they don't have all those components to protect them. If we move back over to our production window here, you can see in the middle we have a list of required materials and available materials. We can ignore the stone because we queued that up just so that it would process without us thinking about it. But if we look down to the iron, we can see that we still need 656 kilograms of iron and we have none left. We also need 16.67 kilos of nickel and we've only got 13 kilos left.
Where the fuck did I get
Thankfully,
hydrogen?
stone will give us both of those materials. So we'll grab out our drill and we'll head back down in the mine. So back across in my production window and you can see that I now have enough iron and enough nickel. If I want to get my components built first rather than processing this stone, I can click and drag it so that it moves to the end of the queue. That way the components will be made first because we have the materials for them, and then that stone will be refined once they're all made. Alrighty, everything's made. We're back to processing the stone. Let's transfer this across. As you can see, like the wind turbine, it's got that functional hack line, which we should reach with these components. Don't worry too much about building the other bits or not. If you build them, that's fine. I'm just trying to save a little bit of time for you to begin with. Once the refinery is built, you'll notice this thing on the screen that says, by building basic refinery, you have unlocked new blocks. Before we get to using the refinery, let's take a look at what that means. If we open up our block menu by pressing G, you'll see that there are a whole bunch of blocks you can build. But there are blocks in Space Engineers that you can't build yet. And if we look at our progression tab, you can see what's required in order to unlock them. Let's take as an example the parachute block. Parachute block is shown here in our progression list. If we click back across to blocks, you'll see that I cannot build it yet. That's why it's in this grayed out area here. In order to unlock the ability to build a parachute, we need to first build a landing gear. So if I walk over to my survival pod, hop up on top, where there's a parachute block, and grind it down below that functional line and try and weld it up, it's going to say unknown technology. So to research that technology, we could place down a landing gear on our ship. Or we can go to an existing landing gear, grind it down below functional, and weld it back up again. We already knew how to build landing gear, so that's why that's able to be used by us. And now, if I head back up to the top, because we have unlocked the parachute block, as it shows up now in blocks, we can walk up to our parachute block and weld it up. So that's how we're going to unlock the ability to build more blocks. Like with the basic refiner, we can build it from scratch, or if it already exists on our respawn pod, we can grind it down below functional and weld it back up, and that'll unlock things
Computers
further.
and motors.
Just make sure, if you're using that grind down and rebuild technique, it's a block you can already build, because that's how the unlock system works. Build the things you can to unlock more things you can't. Now, this basic refinery, it allows us to access the control panel of this grid, either through our inventory access port and then changing over to control panel, or by going to this little blue screen here and interacting with it directly. Here you can see that our basic refinery is in a list with our wind turbine. If you don't see both of these blocks when you do this, it means you didn't snap the blocks as you went along in order to make sure this was all connected as a single grid. And that means that you can't use the wind turbine to power your refinery. Our basic refinery needs 330 kilowatts to operate properly. Our wind turbine can produce a max output of 420.95 kilowatts in the position we placed it. Currently it's only putting out 1 kilowatt because that's all the basic refinery needs when it's idle. If I were to switch this off, it now needs 0, and the wind turbine will say current output 0. Turn it back on, and let's go collect some stone. Just as a little test, let's put 1,000 stone in the basic refinery and see how much we get from that. And we'll also put 1,000 into our survival kit. The basic refinery should be done with that stone, and it has produced 21 kilograms of iron, some nickel, and some silicon. The survival kit, on the other hand, has produced 30 kilos of iron. So the basic refinery is actually worse at stone than the survival kit. While our basic refinery is worse at producing materials from stone than our survival kit is, at least in terms of the yield we get from each unit of stone, it can do things that the survival kit can't, and that's why we want to build it. It can refine ores. So we need to
5
find
more,
some
6.
and see why
Steel
refining
plates.
ores is much better than refining stone, particularly when our only means of collecting any materials is using our hand drill. Our hand drill isn't just a drill. Our hand drill is also an ore detector, so we can use it to find ores around the place. There are 2 places on planets that you will find ores. One of them is things like this boulder over here that you'll see scattered around the place. They will contain small amounts of ore within them. There's another boulder just in the distance there.
Inventory
This
full.
contains iron, so that's useful for me right now. But I'd also like to show you how to find the other ores around here. If we turn on our jetpack, it's going to be much clearer where these spots are. Because ore is not just found anywhere. It's found in specific locations that on the vanilla planets are marked by discolored patches that we can see, that have a particular sort of shape. If I fly up high enough, these shapes become a little bit more apparent. We can see on our screen right now, there's a patch in the top right, there's a patch over to our left, which are pretty subtle, but once you get used to identifying them, you'll be able to see them everywhere. To make it easier for you guys to begin with, let's look at this ice lake, because this has much easier spots to see. The majority of the thing is blue, except for these dark grey patches. Those are ore deposits. So let's fly over to them and see what they contain.
Inventory.
While I fly over there, on screen I'm going to show you a bunch of different ore markings on a bunch of different surfaces so you can see what they look like and gradually learn what it is you're looking for. Now that I've landed here, I can see that there is ice here. Not surprising, I'm on an ice lake. But I can also see nickel and magnesium. And if I keep walking around, I also see silicon. So there's magnesium, silicon, and nickel in this deposit. I want to make sure that I don't search this deposit again, and I also want to know that I can come back here and collect those later when I need them. So I'm going to create a GPS marker. Press K, change over to the GPS tab, and click New from Current Position. That will create a GPS marker exactly where I am standing. And I'm going to rename this to magnesium, nickel, and silicon. And now I'll fly to the next ore marking. There's one just here. Let's see what it's got.
How
And
do
on
I
this
connect
one, I
this? Hold
found
on.
gold. Typically, there's more than one thing in each deposit, but port and then changing over to control panel, or by going to this little blue screen here and interacting with it directly. Here you can see that our basic refinery is in a list with our wind turbine. If you don't see both of these blocks when you do this, it means you didn't snap the blocks as you went along in order to make sure this was all connected as a single grid. And that means that you can't use the wind turbine to power your refinery. Our basic refinery needs 330 kilowatts to operate properly. Our wind turbine can produce a max output of 420.95 kilowatts in the position we placed it. Currently it's only putting out 1 kilowatt because that's all the basic refinery needs when it's idle. If I were to switch this off, it now needs 0 and the wind turbine will say current output 0. Turn it back on and let's go collect some stone. Just as a little test, let's put 1,000 stone in the basic refinery and see how much we get from that. And we'll also put 1,000 into our survival kit. Basic refinery should be done with that stone, and it has produced 21 kilograms of iron, some nickel, and some silicon. The survival kit, on the other hand, has produced 30 kilos of iron. So the basic refinery is actually worse at stone than the survival kit. While our basic refinery is worse at producing materials from stone than our survival kit is, at least in terms of the yield we get from each unit of stone, it can do things that the survival kit can't, and that's why we want to build it. It can refine ores. So we need to find some
what we need to
and see
find,
why
ores.
refining ores is much better than refining stone, particularly when our only means of collecting any materials is using our hand drill. Our hand drill isn't just a drill. Our hand drill is also an ore detector, so we can use it to find ores around the place. There are 2 places on planets that you will find ores. One of them is things like this boulder over here that you'll see scattered around the place. They will contain small amounts of ore within them. There's another boulder just in the distance there. This contains iron, so that's useful for me right now. But I'd also like to show you how to find the other ores around here. If we turn on our jetpack, it's going to be much clearer where these spots are. Because ore is not just found anywhere. It's found in specific locations that on the vanilla planets are marked by discolored patches that we can see, that have a particular sort of shape. If I fly up high enough, these shapes become a little bit more apparent. We can see on our screen right now, there's a patch in the top right, there's a patch over to our left, which are pretty subtle, but once you get used to identifying them, you'll be able to see them everywhere. To make it easier for you guys to begin with, let's look at this ice lake, because this has much easier spots to see.
Alright, well,
The majority of the thing is blue, except for these dark grey patches. Those are ore deposits.
I have a
So
phone
let's
call
fly
here
over
in a
to them and
second,
see
so
what
I'm
they
gonna
contain. While I fly over there,
stop
on
this
screen
for
I'm
the
going to
time
show you a
being.
bunch of different ore markings on a bunch of different surfaces so you can see what they look like and gradually learn what it is you're looking for. Now that I've landed here, I can see that there is ice here. Not surprising, I'm on an ice lake. But I can also see nickel and magnesium. And if I keep walking around, I also see silicon. So
Oh,
there's
no, it's connected.
magnesium, silicon, and nickel
Nice.
in this deposit. I want to make sure that I don't search this deposit again,
Alright, yep,
and I
I'm gonna
also
stop it. Like I said, I got a phone call.